What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our transfer window recap here on Anfield Agenda. The transfer window has now officially slammed shut and Liverpool can do no more business until January. So with that in mind, I'm going to share my thoughts about this transfer window, go through all the deals that Liverpool made in and out, including loans, and of course ask you guys to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Before I go in and break through and go through every single deal that was done in this transfer window, I just want to give you my overall view of it. Coming into it, we all had the belief and expectation that there were three main areas that Liverpool needed to strengthen: centre back, central midfield, and some people felt like a forward, some people felt like a full back. But in general, those were the positions most of us believed we needed to address. And looking at this window, in that context, I have to say, I feel like we failed miserably. And by we, I mean the owners. Because yes, I do believe it is down to them. They set the tone, they put the people in place, and whether you think it's Richard Hughes or Michael Edwards or anybody else, failure in this regard is failure. And we are not going into this window or into this season in a stronger position than this window started. We just aren't. We've brought in some good pieces of business, and I'm absolutely happy to acknowledge and welcome Federico Chiesa to Liverpool Football Club. He looks like he really wants to be here, and I really enjoyed watching his signing day vlog, where you could see the enthusiasm for the project in his eyes. And welcome to the football club. Georgi Mamardashvili, in its own unique setting, is another very good piece of business that will, I'm sure, stand us in good stead in the future. But for the here and now, for the season ahead, we are once again, in my opinion, ill-equipped to go in and challenge. We are hoping for Arne Slot to pull a miracle out of his backside and hoping for injuries rather than going in and attacking the campaign. I've also been very disillusioned by the moving on of the likes of Bobby Clark for a transfer fee that doesn't make any sense. You can look at Sepp van den Berg and you can look at Fabio Carvalho and you can say that there's good value in those deals. Liverpool may not have viewed them as good enough and hence took the money. But Bobby Clark was somebody who always looked the part. Bobby Clark was somebody who the club signed on to a new contract and had a bright future. And then all of a sudden, for a mere £10 million, he was sold. For 10 million. Is that strong enough of a fee to justify moving on a promising young player? I would argue no, he should have been loaned. And to have not addressed central midfield and centre back is criminal. You can say, fair enough, we tried to sign Zubamendi and failed, but we also failed with Tchouameni, Caicedo, Lavia, and it's become a running joke and an embarrassment that we can't solve that conundrum for the third year in a row. So right now I'm feeling really frustrated. And of course, like everybody else, I'll get behind Arne and the team on Sunday when we play United and for the remainder of the season. But that admiration, that love has been taken for granted by the owners. And they're using it and leveraging it so as we are vilified for daring to have a high standard, a high threshold for this football club. So that's my take on the window as a whole. I promised myself today I wasn't going to come on and shout and be angry or vent. I'm disgusted by the lack of strengthening in this window again, and I don't want to be sitting here saying I told you so, because I want to be wrong. Like I showed last night when we thought for a moment we may sign Alan Varela. I was over the moon, as was everybody else in the stream. The optimism and the positivity was palpable. But of course, that turned out to be nothing. And in its own, that's one small little day. But it showed you that the goodwill and vibes was there if the club did the business. So to see the likes of Ian Doyle and others mock and ridicule us, saying that fans hate FSG so much they'd rather be Chelsea or Man United, that's simply not the case. We just know what we need. It's been addressed and acknowledged by the media through the entire summer, and we failed to do it. Up to you how you respond to that, of course, but for me, it is a failure to do the job. That's how I view it. And I will be behind Arne Slot, and I will be behind the players, as I always am, because I want them to succeed. But I grew up knowing that Liverpool exists to win trophies. I grew up watching on as the heroes of the past lifted those European Cups and Premier League titles. So I don't know how all of a sudden ambition has become a dirty word, but it shouldn't be. There are many of us who aren't at the very end of that spectrum of lunacy and screaming about conspiracy theories, but have valid concerns. Those concerns are never addressed, were merely undermined and ridiculed. And for many of us, we've had enough. And yes, we vent and we have what we have to say. So let's go through the business that Liverpool have done in this summer's transfer window, and then you can make up your own mind how you feel about it and the season ahead. So we sold Sepp van den Berg to Brentford for about £20 million, or about 23.6 million euro. Fabio Carvalho again to Brentford for around the same, about £20 million. Adrian San Miguel left on a free transfer when his contract ended. Georgi Mamardashvili came in from Valencia on loan for the season and then will come to Liverpool next season. A very good piece of business. Calvin Ramsey went on a loan to Wigan, so we wish Calvin all the best on his loan spell there for the season. Reece Williams went to Morecambe on loan. Stefan Bajcetic, Red Bull Salzburg on loan, where of course he'll work with Pep Linders. Wish him all the best for the season ahead, and I think it was the right decision to send him on loan for the season. Pitaluga is at Livingston on loan at the moment. Nat Phillips, Derby County on loan, so another option that would have given us a fifth centre-back option should things go south this season, has again been pushed out the door, so he's gone on loan to Derby County. Ben Doak today went on loan to Middlesbrough, and again, after bringing in Federico Chiesa, I can understand that loan as well. Hopefully he goes and plays football. Michael Carrick, I'm sure, will do a good job in bringing out the best of Ben Doak. After that, Joel Matip, who's currently without a club, and Thiago Alcantara, who retired. That is the extent of our summer transfer business, ladies and gentlemen. On top of course, Federico Chiesa, who came through the door towards the end of the window. And again, on its own right, I can understand it. Opportunistic, but good. A good deal for a good price and a good wage with a player who looks very happy to be here. But we can't just stick our fingers in our ears and ignore the deficiencies we've seen over the past few seasons when we've fallen away because of a lack of depth or fatigue or injuries. We can't just always hope for the best. And that's where the frustration comes in for me and many other Liverpool fans. Because if we had have addressed those two areas of concern, we would all feel that we are ready to go and challenge for the Premier League, for the League Cup, for the FA Cup and for the European Cup. Not that we might have to hope for everything to go our way and every rub of the green to go our way and every injury not to happen, despite the fact it's been a shortened summer with international tournaments. We're about to go into 3 international breaks where players will jet around all over the world, adding more fatigue and tiredness. So that's where I'm at. We will be back on Sunday at 3 p.m. for the watch along, the Manchester United game, where we hope we go into the international break off the back of 3 wins, and we will be behind the boys and the manager as we always are. So the window has come to a close. You can decide how you view it, but for me it's a failure. It's a 3 out of 10 window and I'm extremely disappointed. That's all I've got to say. Again, I appreciate your time and support of the channel. If you do, please do drop a like. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button, but most importantly, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll see you on Sunday. Bye bye.